Good evening, friends, and welcome to the front. We are the Pillars of Liberty, and this is the POLCAST. My name's Mike, and I'm accompanied, as always, by my beautiful wife, Smooch.
Hello, hello, hello.
We want to thank you all for tuning in to our third and final episode of the year. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. It's our third episode.
We're babies.
The learning curve on this. We just got done taping a whole show, folks. Unfortunately, there was no sound because we forgot to turn on the mic.
It's okay.
It's a learning process, but it's a lot of fun, and we're getting better as we go. We're still down 2 cameras because we got some cord issues, but we're gonna roll with the punches.
That's right.
And
Adapt,
and overcome.
That's right.
Much like what we need to do in everyday life nowadays, it seems like. Mm-hmm. Roll with the punches, adapt, overcome.
Put a mask on.
Put a mask on.
I need a vaccine passport.
Put my finger in your mouth.
Blah.
Stuff like that. I don't know. So, to start off, a friend of mine texted me the other day, and he was like, did you guys, talk about who you were and everything? And we kind of did that in the first show. We kind of gave you a rundown of our backgrounds.
And we didn't really want to bore
people with that,
because this is not about us.
No.
This is about our country
and bringing people together.
Exactly.
Especially people of faith, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we progress through the slides this evening.
Yes.
But I first wanted to start off with a song that I was listening to just after my friend texted me, and it kind of made me think, that kind of sounds like me. So I wanted to repeat it for everybody. I'm sure some of you know this song once you start hearing it. I'm not going to sing it, although I do have a lovely voice.
You do.
But this isn't the right place. So here are the lyrics. Well, I don't believe that heaven waits for only those who congregate. I'd like to think of God as love. He's down below, he's up above. He's watching people everywhere. He knows who does and doesn't care. And I am an ordinary man. Sometimes I wonder who I am. But I believe in love. And I think, although Smooch is not a man, but
no, I
think
not.
That we both believe those lyrics, because we truly believe that love is the answer to all of our problems.
Love and compassion
That we're facing today on the grand scale of things. And I'm still looking for that Dr. Martin Luther King, that Gandhi, even though he was kind of a bigot. But folks like that led with peaceful actions.
You know what? I'm tired of waiting for a leader when I see one right in front of me.
Well, thank you, love. I appreciate that. I really do. I know you make me cry or blush, but thank you. And I'm baffled in a country of over 330 million. The people that are leading us are not leaders.
No.
They're not even sales attendants at the Gap.
I think I'd like to look at them as a used car dealership.
I wouldn't trust any of those people to sell me a car. Do you ever see Jerry Nadler's pants?
No.
The guy's he's the guy, by the way, who said, "Oh, Antifa's a myth." That's a myth. He's a congressman. His pants go all the way up, just below his nipples, like literally.
Maybe he likes to wear his pants like that.
That's just. There's no way.
Never judge a man by his pants.
Well, I haven't been around a lot of other men's pants, to be honest with you. I don't know where we're going with that conversation. So we're gonna
circle back.
We're gonna circle back and get out of this trap that she just put me in. And but so I wanted to say those lyrics for everybody, and it's a beautiful song.
It is
by Don Williams. I Believe in You is the name of the song. And the first thing that we'd like to touch on, and I'm very proud of my wife for the time and the
Thank
effort
you.
that she's put in over the last couple weeks trying to help people escape, a lot of them certain death. And she started a petition, and it's gained some momentum, and I'm going to go ahead and show the folks what that is. And if Smooch, you go ahead and just kind of explain to the folks what the petition's about.
Absolutely. So you guys know from the first episode a little bit of background of myself and my family, and being my parents coming over and claiming political asylum back in the 80s, and seeing everything happening now is kind of like history repeating itself, and it's very hard especially on my parents, because they didn't want us to go through this. They didn't want anybody in their family to go through what they had to go through. And I felt it was important for the people that were vulnerable, and especially for our allies, to be able to claim asylum, because they supported us and they believed in us. And at this time, the petition is at a standstill, because the petition was predominantly about reopening the Kabul embassy to provide sanctuary for those trying to flee the Taliban. And unfortunately, that didn't happen because Biden decided to pull everybody from the embassy and close down the embassy. And
Except for, the Afghan nationals that were working in the embassy.
yeah,
They got left behind.
They got left behind.
I'm sure China, once they take over that embassy in Bagram airfield, I'm sure they'll find a job for them.
No,
problem.
I'm pretty sure they'll be got. I hope not. I hope God protects them all. But anyways, so the petition now, I've recently updated it, and it's going to be around accountability. We want accountability from the current administration, and I'm not saying that this all falls on Biden. We should have been out of there a long time ago from Afghanistan. There was no point in us staying there so long. I understand that we've invested billions of dollars in Afghanistan. I want to say $28 billion, maybe even higher.
It's a little higher than that.
But I'll tell you this, the Afghan people appreciate the help, the reconstruction of Afghanistan itself.
And now that probably will be all lost.
Right, and that's going to be all lost. So we want accountability from the Biden administration. We want answers, and we want them now, because we are tired of this dog and pony show of be quiet, you're going to listen to what the buck stops with me. I'm sorry, that doesn't answer my questions, Mr. President. You have to explain yourself. Explain why you're negotiating with terrorists.
Yeah, you can't keep passing the buck. Seeing as how you've been around since '79, you've been in politics longer than I've been alive. And but before we go on any rant about that, 34,703 signatures. I think that is awesome.
Thank you.
And we pray to God that it helps some folks, and we bring more awareness to.
And thank you
this.
guys
Anybody
out there.
who's not paying attention, I mean, I don't know where you're sleeping under a rock or something, but
thank you guys. Thank you everybody that signed it. It means a lot, and any people donated to advertise it. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
may God bless you.
Yes.
Now, moving on. First place we're going to stop is we are going to revisit the slide from our last episode. And I only want to point out one thing really here is back in 1979, if you look at the timeline and you go straight up, you see a picture at the very top with gentlemen wearing blindfolds, not by their choice, I'm sure.
Okay.
That is the situation that happened in Tehran, where 52 Americans were held hostage for 444 days. And at the beginning of this, the last episode, I mentioned, how do we know where we're going if we don't know where we've been?
Right.
And it is history repeating itself. So now we are at that point.
Yes.
And we'll get into that with the slides. And I'm sure a lot of you paying attention to the news over the weekend saw that there are 6 planes being held, essentially. And
I don't think a lot of people know about it because it's not really being, I mean, up until today, I really didn't see anything about it. And I think it's been out there for like the last 3 days.
And actually, and I'll get into it once we bring the slide up. I'll say this real quick. The events that came out in the news today about what's going on in Mazar Sharif, the airport,
Yeah.
that actually happened last Wednesday. So it's been going on for almost a week now. And go ahead.
It's been all hush hush.
Yeah, very hush hush. And it almost feels like, Labor Day weekend. Hopefully the Taliban take care of what we need to, and we can just kind of with Afghanistan and move along, folks. Nothing to see here. Have you ever seen
football.
Naked Gun? Oh yeah,
Football.
Football's on now.
Hey, look over there. Football.
We can't. Great. I'm not saying don't watch football. We're not saying that.
No.
I can't watch anymore because I can't go like this and avoid what's going on
I think
all around me.
we gave that up.
We gave that up a while ago.
We gave that up a long time ago because of the fact that they started to bring politics into sports.
Yeah,
And
I don't even know what the Black National Anthem is. I thought we were Americans.
I'm an American.
I'm an American. My family. What about mixed people? What about them? Do we have a national? Because I'm mixed. Do we have a national anthem?
Yeah. What
about us?
What about the brown people?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like a caramel
Because
French toast color.
people want to label themselves crayons and say they're black and white. And,
Yeah,
I guess I'm a brown crayon.
I'm gonna make up my own national anthem. I've got black blood in me. I got Indian blood, Mexican blood, Belgian blood. You pick it. I got it. But we'll get into that at another time. Well, let's stick with the news of the week, or weekend, I should say, over the Labor Day weekend. We're gonna first start off over on the West Coast, where one Mr. Larry Elders is making headways as the top running candidate to unseat that turd, Gavin
Newsom.
He might be Damien from The Omen, Newsom. I can't stand that guy. Everything about him is just...
He just reeks of evil.
Yeah, very, very evil.
I'll say it. I don't care. Evil.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. But Mr. Elders is from South Central LA. He's a California guy through and through. He's got a beautiful story, how he basically brought himself up. His family, his mom and dad, both served in World War II. His dad opened up a snack bar.
How amazing that both of his parents
served in World War II. And they were black, by the way. And, it's just a beautiful, beautiful overall story. The guy is very smart, and he does not allow people to dictate how woke he should be or what party he should belong to based on the pigmentation of his skin.
He follows his beliefs.
He sets his own path. So God bless you, Larry. I pray to God you win. And
all my California folks, go out there and vote. If you know what's best, and everybody's entitled to their own, judgment, give them a chance, check them out. And if you don't like them, so be it. But just give them that chance. Don't be a bandwagoner, Californians. Take the time and look into them.
You can go to, I believe it's eldersforcalifornia.com, and you can kind of look at his bio and read a little about him, and he's a good man. So we're rooting for you, Larry. Moving on, let's move down to the Southwest, down in Texas, deep in the heart of Texas.
Tejas.
Supreme Court rules 5-4 that Texas can become the first state in America to ban abortions. That is a win for kids, especially the most vulnerable of kids, the ones that, really, really have,
they don't even have a voice.
No. And looking at the people that are running the show right now, and I get it, women's reproductive rights. No,
No, it's
I've heard.
not.
Well, hold on though. I've heard doctors now say that men can have babies too. So this involves me now, Dad. Because if I feel, I don't know, I'll let people know this real quick. When I got out of the Marine Corps and moved back to Milwaukee, one of my roommates was Miss Transgender Wisconsin, 1999. I believe 99. Christina. And so I don't know, maybe there was a reason why I lived with her. I don't know. So hearing from doctors now that men can in fact have babies, I believe I should weigh in on this as well. And I'm saying that's a win for life.
Yeah, it is.
And when you look at, like I was getting to that point about the people that are in power right now, they don't give a crap about the most vulnerable life. They sure as hell aren't going to care about women and children from another country.
No.
It almost is as if they want the blood on their hands, or they want the blood to create this negative aura on our small little blue gift that we live on.
And
called
boy,
Earth.
we cannot deny it. There is so much negative energy out there right now, especially with everything going on. You cannot tell me one part of the world that hasn't had any type of protesting going on or any type of revolt going on. There isn't one part of the world that is just kind of calm. I'm sorry, it's.
And we're gonna touch on a couple places around the world in our next slide, but we're gonna go through this one first. But so that decision came down, and immediately all these non-important people in Hollywood, like Bette Midler, most people nowadays bet they don't even know who the hell you are. You were in that awful movie, Beaches, I think. I did cry the last time I seen that, but I just went through a bad breakup. It was on HBO. I had HBO for free for a while, yada, yada. Nobody even knows who you are. And why someone would feel the need to chime in about something, that like we had said, that has
they
to do with...
physically haven't experienced?
Well, I don't know if she has any kids or not, but, it just seems like that's like kind of like team evil. Hence the caption below from the Satanic Temple, which stands ready to assist any member who shares our deeply held evil, not religious, evil convictions regarding the right to reproductive freedom. Accordingly, we encourage any member who resides in Texas and wishes to undergo the satanic abortion ritual. I should be calling the cops right now for that, whatever the hell that means.
Listen,
Within the first 24 weeks. of
I'm all for
pregnancy.
religion freedoms. I mean, our country was founded.
Religious freedoms, yeah.
That's
not a religion.
No,
That's evil.
that's just pure evil, and that shows you itself
That's
the
the slippery
times
slope.
that we live in now, how backwards, excuse my language, we're going in. We have the Satanic Temple tweeting out tweets about abortion and how they're going to support it. Get out of here.
Well,
Nobody.
I sure as hell wouldn't think they'd be for life. I kind of thought they would be for it, but it's like, we really don't need to hear from you, but it's so prominent now. I mean, when you even have shows like, was that show Lucifer? Isn't there a show like Lucifer or
There
something like
was.
that?
I guess there is. There is. I don't know. I've seen the previews on there.
And I mean,
I'm not gonna even entertain
Yeah.
watching. Yeah. No.
but we're glad that ruling came down, and I think that's a victory for life. So
It is.
now we're gonna go over and touch real quick. Obviously, the cleanup from Hurricane Ida's going down in our area. We're still trying to get some supplies, and we're shooting for this week. Those folks need a lot of help down there.
They
Even on
do.
the East Coast, they got hit really hard too. This is
Yeah.
the second biggest hurricane to hit the state of Louisiana, second only to Katrina. And oddly enough, 16 years to the day, it hits the second worst hurricane hits. That might be a sign to maybe move. And I pray for those folks down there. And if anybody can, please donate to organizations that are working down there right now,
Yes.
because it is a mess. Which takes us to another mess in my former neck of the woods, just north 90 miles of Milwaukee, is Chicago, where mayor, which I don't even know if she's really a mayor, she's incompetent. They had a really good Labor Day weekend. Only 58 people shot, 4 fatally, 6 children shot in a 12-hour span. And that little boy right there, Michael Moultrie Jr., was one of those victims over the weekend. And I saw...
We have a 4-year-old.
We have a 4-year-old, and I look at him, and it's like, you know, that could be, you know...
That could be any one of our kids.
Yeah.
God forbid.
And living just 90 miles north, I grew up 90 miles north of Chicago and Milwaukee, and there's a lot of, at least in the sports world, there's a lot of bad blood between Milwaukee and Chicago, and Chicago thinks Milwaukee's their suburb and whatever. I can't stand Chicago sports people. But the situation is very similar in Milwaukee, just on a smaller scale, because the politicians of Milwaukee try to emulate the Chicago way.
I'll tell you why Mayor Lightfoot cannot address all the gang activity in her city at this time is because she's trying to weed out all the white journalists from interviewing her, and she's openly came out and said that she will not take any questions from white reporters, which in my opinion, that makes you a bigot.
Shut up, bigot. Put a tie on, too, if you're going to wear that suit.
Yeah. And
you're the mayor of the 3rd largest city in the United States.
And you want to talk about racism? How did you get to your position if we lived in that of a, if our country was that racist, how are you sitting in the chair that you're sitting in now?
Well, judging by the picture to the right of her as I'm looking at it, she made a deal with the devil. That's probably what came out of it. Our prayers go out to that family.
Yeah.
Of Michael Moultrie Jr. I can't even imagine. But when is there going to be accountability? Yeah, all those victims.
To all the victims in Chicago that fell to gang activity or anything like that, or just drive-by shootings, my heart goes out to you guys.
You know, and I'm not. I don't want to compare the two. The loss of life a couple weeks back with those 13 devil's dogs and that corpsman was horrible. Absolutely horrible. It broke my heart to see that.
It could have been prevented.
It could have been prevented. This could be prevented. But politicians that lean heavy to the left feel the need to criminalize the police department, and that is not an easy job. I'm not saying there's not crooked cops out there. There's not bad cops. There are imperfect people everywhere because we're all imperfect. Mm-hmm. And you have to take it case by case. But if you're actively pushing a wedge between the men that stand in between the violent criminals and the citizens they're supposed to protect, what good are you? What is your job? Your job should only be to protect your citizens.
I think her job is to pay attention
to her hair,
to what's going on in the music industry, because she's putting out comments and stuff regarding, well, I think this should be this way. And to me, your job is to be the mayor of a city, a large city, which is Chicago.
3rd largest city in the country,
and if
which
you
happens
can't,
to be broke.
And what's the saying? What is it?
There's many sayings, Smooch.
Oh, well, the famous one, if you're not going to shit on the pot, what is it?
Well, either shit or get off the pot.
Exactly.
Well, or you can flush it. Moving on. So then we get to August 31st. This is when Biden addressed the nation after, no joke, a biggest airlift. He also stated that they would continue to use over-the-horizon capabilities, military aircraft and drones to conduct airstrikes on terrorists. He didn't really define who. We've heard some ISIS-K, and that's about it. Haqqani Network. But
How are they getting this?
where are they getting the intel from
Where are they
to
getting the
conduct
intel
these drone strikes? I guess the
Right.
CIA destroyed their compound just outside of
No. Well,
of
they
Kabul.
they had the attackers, the so-called. Well, we know what happened on August 26th with the 13 service members.
Yeah.
And so in retaliation, the Biden administration came out and said, well, we're going to avenge our folks. And we're going to find the ISIS-K members and we're going to, do something about it. Fast forward, the next day, they drone strike a home in a neighborhood that involved a Afghan officer,
Afghan military officer.
an Afghan military officer, a interpreter that worked with the Americans, and his family, his children.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know, where's this ISIS-K member that they supposedly took out and that they were touting all over the news that they avenged our 13 service members? Because to me that sounds like a bunch of BS.
Well, I'm sure the Taliban's on the up and up. I'm sure the information they gave him was solid.
Right, the Taliban gave them that information because they weren't on the ground. We had no boots on the ground at the time when they did that drone strike. So how the heck did they know? And I mean, you have more experience than I do.
Well, they did, and I mean, we touched on that in the last episode. Those Marines, they were given, before they went out, they got a brief. You get a 5W. Who, what, where, why, and when. You guys are going out. Guard this gate. There's possibly going to be an IED attack, and there was. The thing that I guess really just drives me insane is that we had that happen, and then just a couple days later on the 6th, when the White House was asked, which was just yesterday, was asked about the now hostage situation, because that's what it is. They're not letting 6 planes leave. There's over 100 Americans, and there's over 1,000 Afghans. That consist of Afghans that worked with us directly, interpreters, and Christians. As you can see from that other news clipping up there, Fox News obtained leaked emails confirming State Department the obstruction of private evacuation flights from Afghanistan. Those were because we donated to Mercury One to assist in the effort with rescuing folks. And Glenn Beck's organization, the Nazarene Fund, and Mercury One, and when he first initially asked for people to donate, they raised like $20 million in less than 3 days. It was really cool.
It was amazing.
And I kind of feel like these evil pricks in the State Department felt like they were getting one-upped, and they didn't like it. And I know that sounds petty, but these are petty people. Mm-hmm. And they obviously don't give a damn about human life. Because when you have...
regardless if you're an American or not.
When you have Americans waving that blue passport saying, hey, we're Americans, and they're letting folks on the plane like this and leaving Americans, something's wrong.
And folks, the problem that I have with this picture, that we both have with this picture, and we've discussed it, is the first thing that we noticed is, Michael brought it to my attention, was they're all fighting age males. And then the thing that I noticed is, obviously I did a lot of human, is the gentleman sitting in the front right there, he's Pakistani, him in the maroon shirt, Pakistani, the guy that has his hand up over there with the hoodie
with
on.
The smooth hair?
Yeah, Pakistani. I mean, so who are these people that are coming over? When we have hundreds, and they can't even tell us how many Americans
are left behind still.
So what is this? Why do we had pictures, and we talked about it in the first episode, and I'm not going to really go into that, but there's families. Why don't I see any families on here? I just see a bunch of fighting, and they're sitting on a commercial flight when we had the C-130s filled with people sitting on the floors with their kids.
I believe they're about to get the first beverage service of the flight.
Would you like peanuts?
I would like pretzels, please. I like pretzels. But we're going to go back to that other slide real quick because that is our question on the bottom. How many Americans have been left behind? Additionally, anybody see that crazy woman down there? Giggles? Where is she? With
Who, Komodo dragon?
yeah, with the human rights violations that are about to happen. They're about to go down, especially for women. They're already starting. We have a picture on the next slide of a brave, very brave woman who lost her life. We need strong women right now, and I don't see any. I see celebritards saying that Texas has now become, like essentially the conservatives out down in Texas are the Taliban.
And shame on them.
They have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
You know what? I will buy them. I will be more than glad to buy them a first class ticket to Afghanistan to
No,
Kabul.
I'm getting coach. But I'll pay for the ticket too. I mean, we don't have that kind of money, Smooch. We really don't.
Well, I'll
I've
scrounge
never
it
even
up.
rode first class. Well, actually, I did ride once, but
I'll scrounge
military.
it up. Damn it! We'll get a GoFundMe to get, and I'm sure people would support me, wouldn't y'all? If these people want to compare our conservatives in our way,
just women's condition here in the United States
Yeah.
compared to women in
Here.
Afghanistan,
Right.
You're a fool.
No, you're more than a fool.
Like I wouldn't. If somebody said that to me, I don't even want to talk to you. You do not. You are
Just
clueless.
seeing those tweets, and especially around everything going on in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Oh, this is like the Taliban are here. Oh my God. How about you go to Afghanistan and actually live it? You live a very privileged life here.
Hey, not even Afghanistan. Go to some parts of Central and South America.
Go to Australia.
Go to Africa. Go to other parts of Asia. See if it's as bad as it is here.
Right.
Because I guarantee you, what we have here, 90% of the world is not like this. 90% of the world, that might be a little bit lower. Maybe we'll say 75%. How about that? Doesn't even know where they're going to get clean drinking water from.
No.
Air conditioning? What the hell is that?
Yeah. Cold air.
And
How about
people wanna
toilet paper?
Toilet. Try to get toilet paper or a napkin down in South America. Good luck.
Yeah.
And don't flush it down the toilet because the plumbing sucks. And if you're somewhere caught in a small town and somewhere in the Amazon, you may or may not have power. It fluctuates.
So don't cry to me, or don't cry about, oh, we have it so hard here. I don't want to hear it.
Then just leave. That's my favorite, is when certain celebrities will say, oh, like when Trump, when he got I'm going to leave. Well, leave then. You have, as an American, you have the right to leave. And I don't understand why people, you want to bitch and complain.
Oh,
But you either
excuse
don't
your
wanna-
language.
Sorry, forgive me, love. But you either don't want to do anything about it, or the only thing you'll do about it is post stuff on social media. But I really wish these people that
Here's
think
the thing.
this is so awful here.
Here's the thing, Glider. They have no problem. Certain individuals have no problem taking benefits or aid from our country.
You mean like Pakistan?
No. I'm talking about here stateside. I'm talking about our people, our citizens.
Mhm.
They have no issues when it comes to getting a stimulus check. They're happier than you know what. But when it comes down to, they just want to have a reason to complain. And they've never had to endure any type of hardship. Now, when people are telling me like, oh, well, I've lived in the hood and I did that and this and that. I'm sorry.
So did I.
My parents,
So
did
what?
I. So did I. I grew up in, I was a baby at the time, but my parents.
My best friend's still doing prison time for murder.
My parents, coming over, didn't even know a lick of English. Here my
Growing up, that is.
dad had to go to night school to try to learn English so he could, feed his family. And here we are. We are the American dream. We are the American dream. Damn it. And I'm sick and tired of people saying, well, I don't want to live here anymore. Bye.
Yes.
See you later.
Toodaloo.
Back
Moving
to-
on.
Moving on.
So, Kamala Dragon's MIA. That takes us to Labor Day weekend around the world. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff from Afghanistan, a lot of misinformation, which goes along with the fog of war,
Yeah.
which we are in right now.
Diversions and whatnot.
And a couple other things. I'll touch on these things first before. Let's actually start to the right real quick, and then we'll hit Afghanistan. How about that, Smooch?
Sure.
So first thing I wanted to point out on the bottom is Australia. And I guess in Perth, they've opened up kind of a hotel. That's run by doctors. And you can get a Bundaberg there. You can get a Foster's. You can get a COVID test. Because essentially it's a quarantine camp.
That kind of reminds me of
China?
No. Well, China too, but it also takes me back in time to Nazi Germany.
Yeah, it sure does. But it's just for sick folks. They just want to make sure the rest of the population
Yeah. If you're sick,
doesn't
just
get affected.
just go to the quarantine camp. You'll be
gotta
okay.
show folks something real quick. We've got the globe above us, and for the last two shows, we haven't put it up, and I keep forgetting. But it's upside down because the world is upside down right now. And right is left, left is right.
Good is bad. Bad is
That
good.
one, yeah. No, evil is good. But the point I wanted to make is the Earth is round. It's not a perfect sphere. It's kind of built like a 57-year-old middle-aged man who hasn't been going to the gym lately. It's a little big at the bottom. But we have an atmosphere. We are essentially a fishbowl. And in a fishbowl, because things like H1N1, which is the Spanish flu, has been around for over 100 years. Because we have an animal population where it'll not manifest, but it will stay in animal populations. And it'll just keep roaming around this circle. Because if you take a ball and you got a bunch of dogs and you have a small yard and you roll that ball in the yard, chances are you're going to get dog poop on it. Meaning, we can't go anywhere on this planet. There's nowhere that we can get away from this virus. It is always going to be here. It will continue to move around through the animal population and through the human population. It will always be with us. And everything that they've tried up to this point, and now they're talking about boosters, and I think we're at the M variant. I would like to name the M variant the Moloch variant. And people like Jack Dorsey, I'm sure he's like, I can get behind that. Because if you know anything about him and that text that we showed earlier, he has a lot of interest in... What? That's not the right slide. There it is. The Satanic Temple down there. And a demon by the name of Moloch. Also, if you've seen The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, the Molochs were the advanced species of humans several hundred years into the future once, he took the time machine at that point. And they didn't quite look like humans, but they were humans. They just evolved differently over time. The other humans that looked like us were cattle for the Molochs. Essentially, the Molochs eat the people. And what he couldn't, the time traveler in the movie and in the book, what he couldn't figure out is, why don't you people fight back? And it's because they kept them dumb, uneducated. They dumbed them down. They told them what to think instead of how to think.
Right.
So they could eat them. Kind of like what's going on right now.
Well, we're running short on time.
Yeah, we are running out short of time. We got to get... Sorry for jibby-jabbing, folks. Moving on. So that is a COVID camp in Perth, Australia. Now, that other little Joey down there is a 12-year-old girl who happened to not be wearing a mask. So what did law enforcement do? They brought about 12 cops. I couldn't get the video to upload, but it was just about 6 kids, ranging in age from 12 to 15, I think. And the police arrested this girl, who was 12 years old, for not wearing a mask. And when her brother asked, why are you doing this? I think he's 14, and, they're kind of like, pushing the cops around a little bit. They're kids. They pepper sprayed those kids, and they threw that girl down on the ground. That is what we are headed for.
We're already there.
Well, we are in certain areas. It's just, and on the first slide, I had it kind of subdued. But right there, right below Joe fondling that biker chick, and as you can see, her 2 biker buddies don't look too happy about it, but they probably know Joe's background and are like, I don't want to get involved with this guy. You got that build back better. Build back better.
Why is it that every picture I've seen of him with a female, he's always behind them?
Smelling them?
Putting his... Disgusting. Can you imagine if
Is that Tresemme?
How would you feel if he met me? Like, if we met him and, like, he just, like, walked up and...
If he did that to you,
yeah,
I wouldn't hit him because to probably kill him.
I think I would probably slap him.
I would grab him. I would either grab him
because I would slap
nose
I would slap any man,
or by the ear.
I would slap any man that would try to.
I don't think you'd let him do that. I think.
No, I would turn around and be like.
I would hope you
me.
just punch him in the gut, just so his eyes would go. Whoa.
I don't care because you don't do that.
No,
that's not appropriate.
He's done that. Somebody who does that and does it in public, and I'm not gonna give up too much information right now. I'll say this though. I've been around a lot of creeps like that, and it hits really close to home. And as we are both trained observers as well, you notice certain things about people. Those actions that he continues to repeat are those of a pervert.
Yeah.
And someone who thinks that he's above the law because he does it right out in open.
Every picture.
Yeah. Every chance he gets, he'd cop a film.
Right behind, and his hands on the shoulder and his mouth on their ear. Excuse me? Why would I want you in my ear?
Now, I know Donald Trump. Yeah, he was a pig too. And I'm no fan of Donald Trump. I did vote for him the last time, but I'm not a fan of him.
Listen, he ran this country. Our economy was well.
Yeah, he did. I mean, if you look...
Afghanistan was still intact. Hey.
He could play... I don't want to hear his Monday...
No,
Monday
I'm not going to... We're not going to find anybody
that...
We're going to always...
Spiel, though.
Right. We're not going to always find somebody that we're going to agree with everything they say.
We don't even agree with everything. That's the thing. I mean, people need to understand that. We are never going to agree on everything. Your closest partner. I mean, we're married. We've been married for 8 years, and
yes, and it's not.
We're still young in our marriage. I mean, we know that, but
we know that, and it's not perfect, but it's a learning experience, and
Amen.
We're doing our best we can for each other and for our children.
Yeah. So we wanted to just touch on that real quick, and then also over the weekend in Africa, on the west coast, really close to Liberia, which, if anybody knows anything about Liberia on the west coast, that was a country that was formed by emancipated slaves from the United States. They took the Constitution back to Africa and tried to develop that system of governance there. Unfortunately, it didn't advance the way that it did here in the United States, and that area is just riddled with human trafficking. Unfortunately. In Guinea, they just had a military coup, and they ousted the president. I believe it was he was changing the constitution, and essentially stayed in power a third term, which was against the constitution. So the military came in and they took him out, and you're starting to see more of this kind of upheaval, and I'm not calling for that here or anything like that, but I'm saying, like, you look at Central and South America, you look at Cuba, look at Afghanistan right now. The world is a powder keg, and we're getting close to boom boom time. unfortunately, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So then we go back over to Afghanistan. And as you can see by the headlines, we have, over the weekend, we had Taliban claiming that they have taken the Panjshir Valley. You had Pakistan, ISI, meeting with the heads of the Taliban.
Yes.
And you have drone strikes being conducted on what essentially is the former Afghan government. And, we also, by what the president said, they're still going to conduct drone strikes
Right.
and other, dropping of military ordnance on terrorist groups and locations.
I think.
But where are they getting that information from?
Right. I think the big factor here is, and I'm sure people have heard about it. There was a police officer, female. She was a guard at the jail in Afghanistan, and she was 8 months pregnant. Taliban ransacked her home, tied up her family, made them watch while they killed her. 8 months pregnant. And up there you could see the red-headed lady, who's no longer with us thanks to the Taliban. She protected
God bless that woman. I mean,
40 children that were orphaned because the Taliban, they had to off their parents. And she was executed as well. We don't know why. But from the picture, you can see that she is guarding those children. Pakistan, just really quick, I just want to shed some light here on Pakistan. Since Bin Laden, let's take it back to Bin Laden, okay? Bin Laden was found in Pakistan, not Afghanistan. Yet Afghanistan was torn apart for it.
got all that opium there.
The hijackers from 9/11 were from Saudi Arabia. Not one of them were Afghan. And yet, or Iraqi. Yet, we went and invaded Iraq, and we went into Afghanistan. Now, I'm not saying that we should have not been in. I'm grateful that we had American forces come in and help stabilize the region. But my point where I'm trying to go with this is, since then, since 2009, the U.S. government has committed over $5 billion in civilian assistance and over $1 billion in emergency humanitarian response to Pakistan. From 2019 to 2020, the U.S. once again was the top donor to Pakistan. My question is, for what?
Yeah, you said
For what?
You said
Why-
18 to 19 billion since 9/11, right?
So since 2009, we've committed $5 billion in civilian assistance. That's just separate.
Civilian, yep.
And then over $1 billion in humanitarian response. From 2019 to 2020, we're considered the top donor to Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what humanitarian crisis is Pakistan going through? And why do we have to keep giving our tax dollars to countries that are funding terrorist activity?
And the prime minister even said that, when the Taliban took Kabul, that now Afghanistan is free. And if you go back even to 9/11, since 2001, we've given Pakistan $19 billion in aid.
Right.
And
Well, hold the boat there. Hold the boat. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, from 2015 to 2020, the U.S. sold over $64.1 billion worth of weapons to Saudi Arabia, averaging over $10.7 billion a year. That's 73% of Saudi arms weapons imports come from the U.S. So here we are, the hijackers from 9/11 were Saudi Arabian, and here we are selling them weapons, and here we are giving assistance to Pakistan, who aided bin Laden. Where is this going? Am I the only one that's seeing this, or what?
Well, I'm right here with you, Smooch.
Well, I know you are, but I mean, people out there, am I am I being crazy or what?
I don't think you're being crazy at all. I think you were spot on, and unfortunately, in the last 20 years, and to me, it's like the Patriot Act is one of the most awful things to come into existence. And we're actually gonna be doing a show on September 11th to talk about some of those things that happened.
Right.
The buildup before 9/11, we kind of touched on it a little bit in the last show. Bush administration giving $43 million to the Afghan government, which was the Taliban at the time. Opium production going through the roof after that. And there's all these other little things that just don't add up.
And I promise, folks, we're not going to keep this show just about Afghanistan. I'm sure people are kind of hearing about it in the news.
No, we got tons of stuff we're going to hit on. We're going to hit on some critical race theory.
Right,
we're going to
we're
going to run the gambit.
Afghanistan is it means a lot to me, and I'm sure to Glider too, because
well, it should mean a lot to every single American, because we have been involved in Afghanistan for 42 years, and we're not taught that kind of stuff in school, unfortunately.
No.
We're not taught, what going to war looks like, and we're not taught that these people that are in power wield too much power. Absolute power corrupts absolutely every time, and these people think they have it.
I just think about I just really think about some of the friends that I've lost during the Iraq war from my hometown, and it really crushes me, because at the time I was thinking we're doing the right thing, our country's doing the right thing by going into Iraq and everything else. But what was that loss of life for?
We may never know, but we're going to try to dig into some of that on our next episode. So we're going to cut it for tonight, and
Yes.
We're going a little bit longer than
here.
what we thought, but we get talking and stuff, and I just love this heat in here. It's,
The humidity is just great.
So I guess with that being said, we should be doing a Saturday night show. We're going to try to do it a little bit earlier, so it doesn't. I mean, usually we gotta wait a couple hours because our internet capabilities are that of dial-up right now. So please bear with us, folks. Thank you for tuning in again, and
may God watch over all
of
of you
us.
and protect you. And
as always, long live
live
liberty.
liberty.
Good night, everybody.